I'm Kevin Roberts, a learning expert, former Spanish teacher, and a certified translator and interpreter in Spanish and French. I also write educational books. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a very important concept of grammar in Spanish, the imperfect versus the preterite tense. Now let me say before I start in today that Spanish is an incredibly important language, and in today's society it can be a gateway to communicate with millions and millions of people. Now, one of the problems with the preterite and the imperfect is that we don't have that distinction as two distinct tenses in English, the way that the Spanish language does. So when I am considering teaching this to a class, one of the things that I like to do is make a game out of it. I find that especially with language learning, if I can make it fun, the concepts take greater root in the students. One of the games that I like is quiz show. I love to make quiz show format to kids because I find that they're very receptive to it. It keeps everybody engaged. So what I do is I split kids into groups of 3, and I have one team against the other team and then make a tournament out of it. Now in this case, what I do is I give them an answer sheet, and each team has an answer sheet, and I come up with 5 statements that are in English, and I have them determine whether each of those statements would require the preterite or the imperfect. Now the reason I do it in English is because the preterite, which is basically the simple past, I played baseball, versus the imperfect, I was playing baseball, which is a continuous action in the past. We don't really have such a clear distinction in English as Spanish does. So I give the statements in English so that the students can understand them first in the native language, and I find that that is a crucial building block, especially the way that Spanish is taught in schools. So I have 2 teams right there. They each have an answer sheet, and I make 5 statements. Statement 1 might be, I played baseball. Then they determine whether it's preterite or imperfect, and then they have 30 seconds to also list on the sheet why it would be either preterite or imperfect. 1 point for correctly ascertaining whether it's preterite or imperfect, and 4 points for giving the correct reason. So let's say statement 2 was, it was 3 o'clock. Well, that would require imperfect, and the reason would be that it's because time expressions are in the imperfect in the past. So I would do 5 statements like this, and then correct them quickly, and then the team that won more points would stay up, and I would keep the teams going. I would try to make it about 2.5 minutes per battle, and then once we got through all of the teams, we would award points based on who had the best single sheet for any particular round, and then we would award prizes and points and things. But in this way, we create an energized atmosphere, we create a game, and we create a situation where students are constantly learning. And by the way, I also, in many cases, will award points based on how well the other teams are paying attention when they're not actually in the quiz seats. I'm Kevin Roberts. Thank you very much for watching.